So our question is, what happens after I file a workers' compensation claim? Your first step would be calling our office, in which case we'll put together the basic representation documents, let the opposing party, whether it's an insurance company or an attorney directly, we'll let them know that we now represent you. And from there, we will address any issues that come up. Hopefully your employer is paying for your medical care and you're getting the treatment you need. If not, there are methods we can use to hopefully push them or force them to give you the care you need. From there, we will wait for you to receive your treatment, and at some point you will reach what's called maximum medical improvement. At this point is when the doctor says that you've reached the maximum healing or the maximum improvement to your normal state so that you can return to work. Hopefully you would return to work at the same level that you were before, but if your injury was serious or it affects your mobility, in those situations you may be at a reduced capacity to work. There may be certain duties at your former job that you cannot complete. It may be the case that your injury requires you to switch occupations entirely. It depends on the severity of your injury. It depends on what your job duties are. Some folks can return in full to exactly the same position they were in before, and some just don't have that option. And in those cases, it's your attorney's job to make sure that you're compensated for your lost income and your time out of work. In some cases, or most cases I should say, your case will be settled without a hearing or a trial. Most workers' compensation cases are settled through an agreement between the parties, a compromise wherein the insurance company will agree to pay a certain sum. In exchange for that lump sum payment, you agree to dismiss your workers' comp claim or to resolve your workers' comp claim without any future action against your employer. At other times, it may not be so easy to reach a compromise, and we proceed to mediation. In mediation, we would sit down with both parties at the table, so to speak, with a neutral third-party mediator who's going to be an experienced workers' compensation attorney, and that third-party mediator will hopefully help the two parties reach some middle ground where the case can be settled if they haven't been able to do so on their own. And I would say that the bulk of our cases are settled at mediation prior to going to trial. In case the parties cannot reach a compromise, then we would proceed to a hearing before the Industrial Commission, at which point that hearing officer would decide whether the employee is entitled to benefits or not. Hearings are also held in cases where an employee might be asking for medical treatment which the employer has not approved, or in cases where an employer has cut off benefits prematurely or has not paid the employee the amount due while they were out of work.